Hello, I'm Willie, and you're in my garage, and today we're going to do some things to that old Beamer that I have. It's an old 1974 R90S, and I've had some trouble with what I believe is the ignition. And so we're going to look at some things and see if we can't learn a little bit more. Maybe there's a cheap fix, but if not, I'm prepared just in case. So we're going to take a look at that. You guys follow me over and we'll find the ignition and look at what we're doing there. All right. So here we are at the bike, and we're going to dive into the ignition. I'm going to show you some things. If you're this far into a bike, you probably know it anyway, but I'm just going to take a quick glance to point some things out, and we'll get started. So bear with me for a second. Okay, in here we've got our ignition switch, and you can see that up under the fairing. We've got to get in here and see how that's working. It's right inside the headlight bucket. But to get to the headlight bucket, we're going to have to tilt this fairing forward. For us to tilt that forward, there are a couple of bolts. We'll have two here on this side. I'll take you in so you can kind of see what that looks like. You got two right here. And then on the other side of the fairing, you'll have them right on the opposite side in the same place. And I believe those are 10mm bolts. Those will have to be loosened. Those will have to be loosened so that you can tilt the fairing forward and we can get in and we can see the headlight bucket. So let's go ahead. Let's do that. I won't make you watch. Like I said, if you're this far, you know what you're doing to this point. Now, with those apart, we're going to rock this forward and just tilt it forward a little bit, and that'll allow us to get in underneath this underneath this headlight bucket, and then we'll be able to open up and look inside of here. So I'm going to show you where that is. And the funny thing is, for many of these headlight buckets, they have different kinds of securing devices. Some of them it's a spring, some it's a set screw. This is just a little push button. So I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, so we're back, and I've got you in, I think, a little bit of a better place. So you can see a little more of what's happening. I'll move a light around, and I'll take you in for a close-up. But you can see that little tab is under here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a dull flathead screwdriver. You don't want to scratch it up too bad. And you want to get in there and see if you can push that tab up. When you push that tab up, this headlight's going to pop out, and we'll be able to look inside the headlight bucket. There we go. Now we'll slide this out so that you can see inside, and I can see inside. And let's hope we have the good and cheap fix, which would be a loose wire. Let's take a look. This is the inside of a headlight bucket. And so we've got a little bit of poking, a little bit of prodding, and I'm going to see if we've got a loose wire in here that makes the startup a little difficult. Alright, so while you were away, I took the ground strap and disconnected it so that we don't get shocked. But I'm going to take and poke around in here and look for some loose wires And maybe that's a simple solution, we can hope. And I hope you'll be able to see, but I'll have to move you in for a close-up. But I'm just going to poke around a little, see if I've got anything loose in the headlight bucket. I don't like that. So something in here, this doesn't feel good. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Feels like the plastic's a little loose. Now again, the ground wire's off, so I'm not going to shock myself or break anything, but if you look at this, it's these little fittings and this whole piece seems to be moving. There, that's a better view. That's moving, and I don't know that that should be moving. So with that being loose, it looks like the plastic and the metal have separated. Maybe, just maybe, that's where my issue is. So let's take that out. I'm going to make note of where those wires are plugged in so that I can put them back in without any trouble. That is a 27 millimeter, and so we're going to take that off. It looks like there's a rubber washer right there and a little lock washer. We'll have to clean this up and make sure that we get these things all cleaned up. Maybe put a little oil on that rubber washer. And well, if you look closely in here, we're going to take off these spade tabs, little spade connectors, and see if we can get in here, get a good look at what's happening with this ignition. This isn't easy to do with one hand. Just like there's another one. That's the white one. It's on the top. The yellow one came off of here, and this red one came out of that secondary post there. Let's get this green one. Let me use both hands. Now you can see all of those are out of the way. And here you can see the back of the ignition. I don't like how loose that is. And so I'm not sure. We're going to try to turn that and see if we can get it out. If you look down inside here next to the headlight bezel, or bucket, I'll call it, it's the bucket, you can see there's another bolt. And I have been wrestling with this, and I didn't let you watch me struggle, but I've been wrestling with this for a while now. But you can see right here, there's nothing holding this to the headlight bucket. So I'm going to take that bolt off. It also is probably going to be a struggle, but we're going to give that a shot, and we'll get this thing out of here. Okay, I'm back, and look here, I've got a set of vice grips. These are the thinnest vice grips that I have, and I have them on that wrench, and hopefully I'll be able to turn that and get this to move. If I can loosen it up, I'll be able to get it out. This might not be the best way to do it, but it's the only way I'm going to do it right now. But if I can loosen that up, I can get this ignition switch out from the inside. Hard part is, even though these are small and thin vice grips, they stick out right to the top of the fairing. I think you get what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not going to make you watch the rest of this, but if you look closely in there, and I certainly hope that you can see it, you can see there's another nut that holds this against the headlight bezel, and so I'm going to work on that with the camera off. You don't have to watch me do this. It'll be a struggle. Alright, so I jumped around a little bit, and I've been struggling with this a little, but we're going to get it. If we look on the other side, and I didn't look on the other side, and I should always look on the other side just to see what's there that might help me, you can see another bolt. Ta-da! Right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this, take this off. I hate taking more things apart because you never know how they're going to go back together. I'm going to take this apart and see if I can just take the whole bucket out. It's a 13mm wrench, by the way, and you can just take that bolt out. That's what it looks like. And I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to see if I can just pop this out. There's a rubber gasket. And let's come around, you can see this. Look at that. You can now see that the ignition is clear. I've got that bolt to take off. I dropped the rubber gasket that goes there, but I'll put that back in. But this is where we are. And we're going to take that out. We're going to check it out. Alright, so I picked up my loose bolts, and now I'm just going to unscrew this last piece. And then I dropped another washer. Now I have the washer and the nut, and this should come out, and there we have it. Now this is what I don't like. You can see that that's kind of weird, but we'll look at it closer when we get over there to the bench. Alright, I'm back. Been struggling a little bit with the GoPro, but we'll figure this out. I think we're back online. We're going to go back and get into this. I removed the old ignition switch from the bike, and now we'll do a quick comparison between the two, and we'll see if that's part of the issue. I think the hardest part in all of this process is going to be the disassembly and the assembly of it all. So here we go. I'll take a look at it, and I'll let you see. All right, as you can see, we've got, this is a new one still in the package. This is the old ignition switch, and I'll bring it closer to you, and maybe you can see that plastic feels separated. Maybe you can see a little bit of that wobble. The plastic feels separated from the metal casing. And because I was able to get some juice through the switch, not all the juice through the switch, I'm thinking that the connections on the inside of this have gone south, because this is in fact a 52-year-old bike. And we're going to check this to see if it fits the same. But right away you can tell this is 100% secure within the casing. So that's what I'm going to bank on, that we have loose connections in this old one, and that this new one fits nice and snug and is going to operate. Let's test the key since we're here. Uh-oh. That's not working. There we go. That works. Let's try this other one. Oh, there we go. So they work. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to put this new one in, and I won't make you watch me struggle, but we're going to put it all back together, and hopefully this is going to work. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm going to show you something that you need to pay attention to when you put this thing back together. So look here, we've got our ignition switch, and if you see on the ignition switch, you see some flat spots. They have no threads. Those flat spots need to align with these little tabs. And I'm not sure how well you can see it because of that light, but if you look, there's a little tab right there, and a little tab right there, and this is where the flat spots for the switch go. Without lining those up, that holds that in place. Without lining it up, you're not going to be able to get it inside. So pay attention to that when you go to put it back together. All right, we're back. We're back, and I've got to kind of wedge this in. There we go. And I've got it secured to the headlight bucket. Now, did I not put my washers on? Oh, I didn't. There we go. These rubber washer over top. Big socket and tighten that. Take a socket and tighten this one up. This is our .27mm. But before that, I'm going to take this bolt and washer assembly and put it back on the other side of the bike to hold the headlight bucket in. And on the other side, there we go. Now that's nice and snug. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up tightening all these things up. I'll get in the headlight bucket. I'll make sure all the wires are in the right spot, and later on we'll turn it over. We'll see if we can get light to the dash and maybe get it to start. All right, so I'm gonna start putting things back together. I'll let you watch a little bit, and then possibly tomorrow I'll be done doing this. I'll come out, we'll start it, and we'll see. Well, we'll see if it starts. Don't know if it's gonna start. We're gonna see if it starts. All right, here, while we're at it, I'll show you what just happened. I hope you can see this. I don't know if you can, but you can see on the headlight these wires, and these wires are fitted like springs into the headlight to hold that in place. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to fit this back in and hold that headlight in place. But I got to figure out how it does it. Okay, so you jam. There's a long end and a short end. And you jammed the long end in and then push. Again, simpler to talk about than to actually do. But you jam the long end up here under the lip, and then you take the small end and force it under the lip. And now the headlight's secure. Pretty simple, huh? Let's go ahead and put this thing back in, and hopefully it'll go this time. I've had it out before. It should go back in. Straighten the headlight so we match up, and voila, it's in. Now I'm going to work on the fairing, put our 10mm bolts back in. I'll probably tighten this just a little, and we may have to readjust that at some point. But I want to put the fairing back on, and I'll play with the other things and put this back together, and maybe tomorrow we'll come out and we'll give it a shot. We'll see if the ignition switch was the root of our evil. Thanks. I'm back, and since I got pulled away before, after we got things buttoned up, I'm going to test it. We're going to put it back together and give it a rundown, and we're going to see if it works or not. I think we nailed it, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm back, and I think we're going to put finishing touches on this by testing it. We're going to see what works, what doesn't. Hopefully we're right. Hopefully we're able to get this back together, get it started so we can drive again. The weather's nice and it's time to get on the road. All right, right now you're looking at the dash, and we're going to try our key. Let me find my keys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's go find our keys. And it's good to have two keys because I only had one key to begin with. That was the original, and it worried me only having one key. Let's see if we can get this in, and let's see what happens. If the dash lights come on, that's a good sign. Yay. All right, we're in neutral. Dash lights are on. See what happens. Doing this one-handed is not easy. Yep, and she'll come around now. She's been sitting for a while. That's a good sign. Oh, I'm thrilled. She'll come around once she gets warm, but I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. Very pleased we got it started. Now we can get it back on the road and we can have a little fun. Again, always do a little homework, see what you can learn. If you do a little bit of preview, you get to understand it a little bit more. It slows everything down. But just go out and give things a try. It's not my day job. I make mistakes. You saw me make a mistake earlier today. I'll continue to make mistakes, I promise you. No different than most other people, but I am willing to try things. So that's the key. So hey, you have a great day, and thanks for watching.